All right, we're ready to dive into the stories in the headlines making the rounds across Nigeria from the dailies, the Punch, the Vanguard, Premium Times, you name it. We've got it right here, ready for you. The stories on the ground, analysts ready to go, and of course, just you to complete the trifecta. WhatsApp is the number to send your messages to keep it tuned. And of course, let us know what you are thinking. 0911-999-0981. That is the WhatsApp number. You can also get your front row seats to everything going on YouTube. For those who like an audio visual experience, it's Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways that you can be a part of Freshly Pressed this morning. My name is Ayokunmi Kekiriako, and it's good to be with you once again, Freshly Pressed for the final time this week. You just wonder where exactly are the minutes, the seconds, the hours going, but hey, we're thankful that we're here today to talk about what's going on in our great country of Nigeria. Joining me as they always do on a Friday. You know, it's never complete without the both of them, AB Bozimo and, of course, Joseph Obari are with us this morning. AB, great to see you once again. Good morning.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Joseph. And good morning to all of the wonderful listeners. They'll have a treat, a galactic treat, if they join Joseph on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. Joseph, good morning from the Milky Way.
Good morning. I thought I could look like you today, so I came dressed this way. So,
You
but
definitely
as for
beat me at my
being
game.
out of space, I mean, it's cool out there, I can tell you. All right, listeners, you're all welcome to the show. AB, it's nice to see you again. It's nice to be here. Exciting time. A lot of exciting topics to talk about.
Yes,
You're all
indeed. Yes,
welcome.
indeed. A lot of exciting topics to talk about. And to get the reference to outer space, you need to actually be on YouTube or take a look at YouTube to understand what exactly we are referring to. But let us begin our journey this morning. EP, let us start in the Punch newspaper. And this, we're going back to the issue of the presidential pardon list and so on and so forth, because there is an update to it. And of course, we need to bring it to your attention. Now, there were indications on Thursday that some names on the presidential pardon list approved by the Council of State as presented by the Attorney General of the Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, may be dropped. Now, the development comes amid growing public outcry over the inclusion of certain high-profile and violent offenders among those pardoned by the president. Now, the presidential pardon is usually granted to mark national occasions. Now, it was also meant to decongest prisons and to promote reconciliation as well. Now, it looks like there's a bit of backtracking here. Now, can we call this, should I say, a way to just fix a mess, kind of? Or is this the government listening and saying, okay, you know what, maybe we didn't really think this through. Let us take a step back. I mean, how exactly can we look at this particular issue now?
I think thinking was not part of this process because, to be honest, this just looks like a botched and shoddy job. Yes, as Joseph will agree, there is a prerogative of mercy where a president can literally pardon anybody. And we thank God for that. In some instances, pardon is needed. We all need pardon from the Almighty. That said, when you're exercising that prerogative, ideally, I think you should look at context, you should look at the kind of offense that the person did and see whether your actions have a way of actually rewarding or not providing consequences for certain deserved crimes. Look, listen, there was this kidnapper who actually had an entire infrastructure of detention houses and all that. That person, how did that name ever? And he was accused allegedly of murdering some of his victims. How did that name ever appear on a presidential pardon list? There are people who have been picked up for vagrancy. They have been inside detention for 4 years. They have actually become criminalized because of contact with this. That kind of person, I would think, may be a better person to forgive for whatever, even if they did something wrong. Okay, you stole a chicken. Bad crime. but that relatively could be seen as forgivable or worthy of a pardon. You have situations where some military people were consorting with enemies of the state, literally giving them arms to use against citizens. You are pardoning such a person. You have a person who murdered her husband. They say she's a model prisoner. Check the prison records. I'm sure there are many model people. That seemed to be like, okay, kill your husband, nothing they happen. You are free to go. I think there's a message sent by who you pardon and how you pardon. Now, let me be very clear. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not solely responsible for this. I'm sure names are forwarded to him, but there should be a system of vetting that says absolute no to certain kinds of people up front before the rest of them filtered through should now be presented to him. I would say this same kind of vetting process is what failed for that minister who just resigned. So we have to ask ourselves, what systems of checks do we actually have in place that result in these kinds of results? So yeah, you could say they're listening. They have said that it's not finalized, but the list was announced. Will there be a secondary announcement or not? They could still go ahead and just, okay, we have listened, we have said, we are going to look into it, but what will be the process to know? I guess journalists will let us know if or when some of these more controversial names indeed do get the pardons. But I think there are, mistakes have been made. And indeed, it's good to hear that they are taking a second look at it. But what is the proof that we will have that that second look will yield any clearer insight? Or is that second look just to appease the masses, give them cake, and then go ahead and do what you already planned to do? That remains to be seen. I think that there are some people who should be held responsible for some of those egregious selections in that list. But thank God for the prerogative of mercy. We all need it at some point or the other.
Joseph, I want to get your thoughts on this issue as well. Now, looking at how this panned out, when the list came out, it seemed like a matter of fact sort of list. There was no talk about the list being under review, a first list, and so on and so forth. Now, did the government need the outcry from virtually everyone to actually realize that, okay, maybe we shouldn't have put certain names on this list? And what does it also say about decision making? Because this is not the first time that the government actually has to backtrack on a certain decision made. We've seen that happen before. What does that say?
Well, like Ibi has said, it tells a whole lot about our processes, our systems, and how very vulnerable they are to manipulation and compromise. This is a country where you have had names of deceased persons and merit lists announced by the president. And you would think that we would have learned from such embarrassing mistakes. But to imagine a situation where you have names of criminals, those who committed very terrible crimes, being listed for pardon, and it has gone to the National Council state for approval. And then the Leonard SAN, the Attorney General of the Federation, comes up to now give an afterthought explanation. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with due respect, the AGF has the blame lies squarely on his table, because he is one who is supposed to have screened that list and ensured that it can stand public scrutiny. As usually the case with everything in Nigeria, it was a matter of who knew who can pressurize and lobby for who. And then, in fact, you won't be surprised that some people might have even made money out of this whole process because they have the right contacts and so on for families. And so, because when you look at the list and the content and the kind of people listed there, you're shocked. You're shocked. We are all shocked. But the blame lies squarely the doorstep of the AGF, because he is the one who is supposed to be presenting. In fact, he is the one who presented the list to the National Council of State. It's nobody else. So he can't say now that he didn't understand his process. All these explanations are afterthought. They're face-saving statements to save an embarrassing situation. And so we are waiting to see how honest it is. I read the response from the Bello family over the killing of their son, and it couldn't have been anything so very stark in terms of their disappointment at the con. But not only to talk about that, you have institutions of government, agencies of government, who prosecuted cases, who went too far, painstakingly, to get evidence, and more public money was spent in trials and so on for over years to convict people. And then you rubbish their effort. Take NDLEA, for example, over drug pushers who have been pardoned and so on. So how do you want them to feel? How do you want them tomorrow to chase after criminals, drug barons, and so on? So a whole lot. It stinks.
If it smells funny, I'm not eating it. It's a comment I heard in a movie at some point. Make of that what you actually will. All right, let's keep the conversation going here, Joseph. I'm coming to you right now. Talking about institutions, let's talk about INEC. And I'm pretty sure that this particular issue you must have seen at some point over the week, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, has clarified the 1,505,901,750 naira fee for certified true copies of the National Register of Voters and Polling Units details requested by Messrs. VC and Associates. There's no kobo attached. The clarification is contained in a statement issued on Thursday in Abuja by Mrs. Victoria Etamesi, Director of Voter Education and Publicity at INEC. It's a long read here, but Joseph, I'm going to allow you to get into this particular one, and let's make a bit of sense of it.
Yeah, while the mathematics seems to add up, in terms of the number of copies needed, but 6 point something million copies to be made, pages to be made, and then the amount 250 naira per page. I think that there are situations where you look at the circumstance and then you take an action. And I expected that INEC, well, it says that a certain number of voters' information is contained per page. It is word processing, for goodness sake. You can reduce the font. You can reduce the font. You can reduce font so small that it's tiny print. To fulfill that requirement of the law that you have to stamp it as certified true copy, but you can shrink it such that it can be given out to the people. Then give them a soft copy for them to be able to use. They can go and print it at their own cost or wherever they can do it. Yeah, but to now say, come and pay 1.5 billion naira to get a document from government, will seem like you're simply just creating a hurdle for a person who is trying to leverage the Freedom of Information Act. And that's what it seems, So on the surface, yes, the explanations are cogent. Oh yeah, we need to buy your charge. We need to charge you this number of amount of money to produce a number of copies. I think there are ways around these things. Yeah, right? Because actually you can even certify a true copy electronically.
Exactly what
do it.
Exactly what I was thinking. I mean, if we have that many pages, soft copy perhaps.
Yeah, why give them hard copy? Why give them hard copy? Let them go and sort out how they are going to print it, but certify it electronically and send it to them. Even then, it could be a very bulky document, but they could come and copy it. You deliver it to them. So it just tells you either it's a rigid system, people just don't think, people just do things in the way that it is done. Maybe Because I don't know what font size they're using that will have maybe 16 or how many names on one page. And then so but whatever it is, you can reduce the font. You can even, in fact, there are font types that you use that on their own, they're slimmer and they just reduce the volume. I mean, with these things are things we are familiar with, you know. So, but if you really want the people to benefit from your service, you think out of the box. And I don't see that happening in this case.
All right, thank you for sharing this. All right, Abi, you have a word to chip in.
I mean, basically, a forest somewhere is currently cowering because if you have to print that amount of paper, you will be adding to the ozone layer depletion in the atmosphere. But the bottom line is this: it's very possible. You asked a key thing. You said, if you really want people to benefit, that's really the question. Yeah. Because if you want something to happen, you find legal ways to do it. If you don't want it to happen, you erect every possible obstacle to it. There is nothing as simple as a secure website. Now, 16 records could be that you have the name, you have the picture and all that. So maybe that's what makes it large. But as you said, electronically, you can access it. As long as you have the credentials, you can have access to what is needed to verify or otherwise. And of course, it's based on an FOI request. So it's a legal thing. It's not as if any joker just come to take that information. You have to have special conditions for access and auditing the trail of who accesses it and for what. But I just suspect that they put that figure, which is, by the way, just a mere $1 million to make people say, okay, that's a bit too much.
A mere $1 million, maybe you can just send some over. Since it's mere,
you can just send so maybe like 50,000 to me and
I mean, it's just to let you know, they're trying to just put you at arm's length. If you have $1 million, come and collect.
Let me take a message or two here. This is Chika. Chika, who is in transit at the moment. Good morning to you, Chika. He says the back and forth from the between the AGF and presidency has once again shown that there's no synergy or unity of purpose in this administration. Isn't it laughable and embarrassing that the AGF is attempting to override the president? The question then will be, who are those that compiled the list? In conclusion, this administration lacks administrative capacity to pilot the affairs of Nigeria. For how long will this embarrassment continue? Shewondia Sensurulere says, good morning, crew. How are we sure that some of these people that were pardoned were actually serving their prison terms in Nigeria? Well, in Nigeria, well, on one hand, they said the list is being reviewed. On the second hand, I understand your sentiments. And this just goes to the severe lack of trust between government and people. It is a severe lack of trust because when we begin to have these conspiracy thoughts in our minds, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but bearing in mind what we've experienced over the years, any right-thinking person would always think, but what if? But what if? It just comes naturally, and that's just how things actually work out. All right, AB, let us talk INEC here. The Vanguard is where we are going to. The newly confirmed chairman of INEC, Professor Josh Ampweton, has pledged to conduct a comprehensive audit of the INEC result viewing portal, that's IRF portal, to identify and resolve the technical glitches that undermined public confidence during the 2023 general elections. I would have imagined that those glitches would have been figured out immediately after they actually came up. I mean, 2023 was 2 years ago. So what is there still to resolve?
This goes back to what you said just now about trust, about undermining public confidence. I make bold to say that no matter who was announced the winner of the 2023 elections, if all that we were promised took place as were promised, it would have been ultimately acceptable to all. The issue is not who was announced, but the fact that the processes that they said, you do this, and ended up not happening. That is what created the thing that the current INEC chairman has now said undermined the election. Listen, we went on. First of all, I'm sure he's finished smiling with amusement at people confusing him with somebody who was in the APC case at the Supreme Court. I'm sure he was amused at that. Thankfully, those who ran to the press with that thing have been corrected. We must not just believe every story just because it's on social media. We must do a verification. I'm happy he's done that.
Correct.
So I'm happy that he himself is saying, listen, I will look into it, because he recognizes that elections are whatever they want to be, but as long as people have confidence that this system produced this result, then you find less division or misunderstanding. Then he said something when he was speaking to the Senate. He said, I believe what happened in 2023 was subsumed as a glitch. Before the election, based on a review of, there was no clarity as the purpose. Then he said something, if allowed, I will look into it. He is now the head of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
But
Who
it
is
seems to be
supposed to
allowed.
allow or disallow him? I mean, I thought that being the executive in charge of that entire organization, he will have, he understands he's been given the mandate, he has the authority to order and audit or not. So unless he's already transmitting that, like, look, I'm here with some chains on my wrists. So please, Mr. Brand new INEC chairman, give us the confidence. We're talking about undermining, we're talking about lack of give us confidence that you are indeed on top of the matter and in charge of that independent institution. All I'll say in summary is this: he is a Nigerian of age. He has been with us, thank God, through very many years of less than sterling results with our elections. It doesn't matter who appointed him. He is now in office. He has a chance to either write his name in gold or write it in sand. What has happened before him is not his responsibility, but he has every opportunity going forward from today to make a difference in the electoral system of Nigeria. The choice is his. He may be obligated to the Nigerian people or to those in power. At the end of the day, he will either be like his predecessor in terms of being disdained, or he will be like a man of his own by being upheld as somebody with integrity. Not integrity, integrity. Let us wait and see.
Let us wait and see. And I hope he can eventually tell us what the technical glitches in those elections were, because till now we don't know what exactly that means or what they were.
That is the point. And he should not say if he's allowed. He should set about doing it. It should be one of his KPIs.
Yeah, for me, I think he has not spoken with a lot of confidence, and that gives me a real concern, because when he starts saying if, or the INEC it's not just INEC's responsibility, there is NCC, there is NIMC to consider. Because if I want something, I'll go out for it and demand that the agency responsible should provide me what I need to do the job I need to do.
You are the executive man.
And if they are not doing so, I will come out to the public and say, this is what I want to do, and this and do ABC.
These are the people militating against it. Exactly. Get a great man.
That for me is a big red flag, and we are watching to see what will happen.
Well, maybe he was nervous at the point. He'll get himself together. So let us let's give him the benefit of the doubt at this point in time. All right, Joseph. Let's talk about the Senate, and this is in the Guardian. We're talking about the electoral bill. Well, the Senate on Thursday descended into procedural confusion after Senate President Godswill Akpabio overruled his deputy and ordered that the Electoral Act Amendment Bill be stepped down, following revelations that document was not circulated to lawmakers. Now, the bill, which seeks to regulate the conduct of federal, state, and area council elections in the FCT, was listed for second reading, but stalled after senators discovered that the text of the proposed amendments was missing. Joseph, looking at, I mean, this is a major issue. Now we're hearing this. Are our lawmakers taking this with the utmost seriousness that it actually deserves?
Well, as you say, if you ask me now, who I go ask?
Well, I can only ask you right now.
This is the Electoral Act we are talking about, the electoral reform we've been asking for, which we still feel is not adequate. And then, for some reason, a senator, senators who are responsible for it don't understand their procedures anymore all of a sudden. They even hold the public hearing on the bill before they even come for the second reading. A whole lot of mess. And then they don't let their colleagues have copies of it for them to now discuss it on the floor of the Senate. So it's curious. I mean, it raises a curious question. What's going on? Why should this particular bill run into hitches at this early stage? We're not even talked
But we passed but
about
at least we
voting on
we
it.
passed the national anthem. We're able
in 24 hours. You know, so but how can this become a mystery? All of a sudden, the procedures of the Senate cannot be understood anymore by the committee. So I am concerned, and I've always said that there is no sincerity or purpose on the part of our legislators to honestly want that we should have an electoral system that is transparent and will serve the public benefits, because they themselves are beneficiaries of these dysfunctional processes they create. Right? So we're watching with keen interest. Let us be disproved. Let the National Assembly disprove us that they mean well for this country, and they are going to create a reform that will overhaul our electoral processes. But for me, this is very curious. I find it very strange, you know. And if you listen to the word of the Senate president himself, he declared it a phantom bill. You know, he said there is nothing before the House. How can you discuss that? You
know. Something that needs to be taken with utmost seriousness. It's taken with such levity. We've called for these reforms for such a very long time, and with elections less than 2 years away, is it going to happen? Are we going to see those reforms that we really, really, really need to have to make things even better in our electioneering processes? After what happened in 2023, I don't think any Nigerian who is eligible to vote would want to go to the polls under the same conditions. There are gaping holes that need to be filled, and our lawmakers need to take this very seriously if truly they have the interests of Nigerians at heart, as they say they do. It's one thing to speak a big game, but to actually put it into practice, that is where we really know the true intentions of the people involved. Let me take your messages as we wrap up this morning. This is Charles in Festac, who says, good morning, Ayo, and to AB and Joseph. The pardon granted to over 100 convicts by the president is driven by this I'm in charge mentality. Considering the backlash attracted by petroleum subsidy is gone in the early days of this government, you can easily tell that somebody is talking before thinking, and the Baba Sokwes will pull down anything just to prove that a new sheriff has come to town, irrespective of who recruited him. That many drug pusher convicts were pardoned is understandable, though. Why is it understandable, Charles? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Could they expatiate that?
Because I do not know what you're talking about, brother.
Elaborate, Charles.
This is Joseph Mini in Silver Estates. He says, good morning, freshly pressed, my ever-vibrant presenter, Ayo, and analyst AB and Joseph. Good morning to you, Joseph. Good morning to you, Joseph, incidentally, Joseph. Two Josephs on the show now. Clearly, you will know that majority of politicians, elites, and government always make seamless solutions almost impossible. So in this age of technology, why hard copy from INEC and not soft copies, which shouldn't cost a dime, but they want to generate revenue? Also, the new chairman should know all Nigerians just want free and fair elections and not compromise to favor any taskmaster. Not forgetting that the EFCC boss is a pastor, and the agency has gone from worse to worse. May God help us. See, at this point in time, you're a pastor, you're a imam, you're a sheikh. I don't want to hear that one. Just get the freaking job done.
Do the job.
That's all I care about at this point. That's all Nigerians care about at this point. Chidozie says, the fact that a head of a supposed independent institution is saying ifs, it shows there's no independence in the first place. It's about the piper dictating the tune. As far as those electoral reforms aren't done and passed into law, I doubt if we're ever going to have any confidence in the electoral umpire of the country. Jai Olunilua from Magodo Jerry Sherry says, Good morning, Ayo, and the fine gentlemen in the House. Good morning, Ajay. The federal government should just review this embarrassing list of beneficiaries of that clemency instead of a confusing statement by the Attorney General on the process of finalizing their release. Simple and straightforward. Let me head to YouTube. There are a couple of comments here. Let me take them. Okay, they're all from Tajuddin Abdul Hadi, and he says, Sir Abi, you are rating this government by saying they should have thought it through. And the presidential pardon, it's a brotherhood thing. He then says, did he not know about the kidnapper at least if he didn't know all the others that were on the list? And he then says, Sir Abi, I need a mere $1 million as well. Abi, you see what you've done now? You've turned $1 million to mere. So it means that you are capable.
Please, we join you. We're all part of it.
It is INEC terms, so ordinary 1.5 billion. Just bring it and you get your paper that they will wrap granite with after. I mean, it just shows the thoughtlessness of that person. And the person came up to defend it.
Of course.
Just one word on one other story about the Global Hunger Index. One sentence. It has worsened in the past 10 years. Enough said. Who has been in charge in the past 10 years? Enough said.
It has worsened in the last 10 years. And for those who want to read that story, it's in The Guardian. It says that Nigeria ranks 115th out of 125 countries on the Global Hunger Index. Means that we're better than just about 10 countries on that list. So if you want to get more on that.
Now there, then go find us, as they say in social media. Now there, then go find us.
Oh my goodness. We need to wrap it up this morning before laughter finishes me in the studio. Thank you all so much for the engagement. We love hearing from you. We appreciate your comments and you taking out the time to be with us on the show every single day at 7:30. You are the real MVPs. Bigger MVPs are with me right here on Zoom. AB and, of course, Joseph. AB, thank you so much.
Thank you all listeners. Thank you, Ayo. And thanks for the privilege, the pleasure, and the opportunity to join you to have these interesting conversations. This country shall work for us. Oga INEC, get a grip, man.
Amen to that. Joseph, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ayo. Thanks, Abi. It's always making it great here. And listeners, you make it even sweeter. Thanks a lot. And have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
A wonderful weekend on the horizon. I hope you do have a swell one as well. Lagos, Nigeria, the entire world, wherever it is that you're listening to us, because you know Smooth 98.1, we are global. Keep it tuned at 8:15. It's all about looking ahead into the sporting action coming on the weekend in the locker room. Tega is on the ground, and you know what that means. It's going to be fun vibes, banter, and everything all the way. 8:15. Keep it tuned.